Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Alex, and in here we talk about and we discuss things about manifesting, the subconscious, visualization, imagination, using your imagination to to manifest. That's essentially the trick. I wrote a book. It's on Amazon. It's titled "I Want to Die: A Few Chapters in the Life of Alex Cooper." Pretty small, straight to the point, and I make these videos and I read parts of the book and discuss them with everyone. Um, Today's topic, I'm going to try to make it around how meditation is like praying. It's essentially like praying and like the right way to pray. I would like to start off by reading. I read this on the last video. It's part of the last chapter I already read, and then we'll get into the next chapter, which is how I meditate. Show you guys how I meditate and the whole business and stuff like that. Um, so let's get started here. Let me read this part. And this part right here is pretty important because when I was writing it on the book, I knew it was one of the most important things. So here we go. This is part of the chapter of meditation, which is like the third chapter, I believe. Let me check real quick. Yep, the third chapter. Page 6, down at the bottom, starts off by saying, I realize that you don't have to meditate for long periods of time. 3 to 10 minutes whenever you feel like it should be enough. And that's just to start clearing your mind off and getting you in a relaxed state. And also in the present moment, because to create, you have to be still in the present moment. You can't be thinking of nothing in the past or like worrying about nothing in the past or wishing or hoping for something. You have to be in the present, in the now. The most important thing is knowing what thoughts you put your awareness and attention to throughout the day. We must pay attention to our thoughts and not think of anything negative or imagine any negative outcomes. That's all part of the imagination, because if you start visualizing or thinking about negative outcomes that haven't happened yet, you put yourself in that vibration. So you're expecting those type of things. So you're gonna experience similar events because your attention and your awareness is in that. We must try to condition ourselves not to react to problems and things that might upset us, that will make us start thinking in a negative way. So you have to watch your reactions to things that you see out in the 3D world. If it's something that makes you react in a negative way, you have to first of all catch yourself and not let yourself start reacting and start getting mad or upset. That's one of the first things. And at first it took me a long time myself personally to get used to that. Now I could, uh, for the most part, catch myself and ignore it. Because if I know if I react to it, I emotionally react to it. I put myself in that vibration, so I'm throwing that out to the universe. So I'm going to experience more of that. So to break the chain, you have to cut it off. Don't think about it. And what you got to do is replace it with something that makes you imagine yourself, something you would like to experience instead, and then have it in your mind, visualize it. Let me give you guys an example. My foot was hurting like months ago, and it wasn't just like a bruise that would go away. It was like hurting the bottom of my foot, which I just had to do with the nerve or something. Every time I would step on it or something. But instead of me giving into it and acknowledging that, oh, my foot hurt, my foot's messed up, I started in my imagination imagining, oh, there's nothing wrong with my foot. My foot's perfectly fine. Even though every time I took a step, it would hurt and stuff. I would imagine like, oh no, it doesn't hurt. It's healthy. It's perfectly fine. And I did that for like 2 3 days, and then eventually it started to go away. Like I remember this one day where half the day would like sometimes it would hurt like 50-50 it would hurt and then it wouldn't hurt, and I still kept at it like, oh, there's nothing wrong, nothing wrong. And then I remember just out of nowhere it just went away, like it stopped hurting because it put myself. I was already in that vibration that my body's healed, and that's how you change things pretty much. Or there's many other times like at work where there's a problem, um, and then I go, they tell me about it. So in my mind, I reject them like, oh, there's in my I right away reject them like, oh, there's no problem. Like I go deep within myself, like there's no problem. Like, and I see what I would like to see instead, which is a solution that the problem is fixed already. They're like, oh no, the machine's already running, it's already fixed, the problem's been fixed, and blah blah. And then just have that conviction in your imagination that you're living that reality that's already fixed and stuff, and just go up about your day, and then the problem will fix itself, like through one way or another. Like just you need to have that intention, to have that. There has to be a mind that throws that intention out there to make it happen, to change it. And then either an idea is gonna come to your head of how to fix it, of what to do so you can fix it, or else it'll just fix itself without you having to do much. Or it'll, make sense. So if you end up getting upset or bothered by something, don't react in a negative way, which is what I said. Because if you do, you just repeat the same loop over and over. You're just gonna have more similar days, more similar events happening in your life. Instead, try to shift your awareness and redirect that energy to create something positive for yourself or others. This takes some practice to do. It's about redirecting your energy. You gotta save it, harness it, and then imagine something good that you would like to happen in your life by imagination, through your imagination. And this is fun, guys. This is fun. Like once you learn how to do this, problems and challenges won't seem that difficult, and you might start to have some fun with it. Like, because you see a problem and then you just like alchemize it just through your imagination. We must try to focus our awareness on what we want to be and on our desires. Also, keep that in mind. Don't let nothing like bother you or derail you from your goals. If a problem exists, imagine how it would feel when the problem is fixed. Make it true in the present moment and act as if the problem is already resolved. Being in that knowing state is what will bring the solution to you in an effortless way. Again, so you're being in that knowing state puts you in the same vibration of that outcome. So being in that vibration more and more all throughout your day, it'll lead you. It'll match the um the outcome to you in an effortless way. The solution. Don't think about problems and put your awareness on them. That's if you want to change the problem. Okay, don't think about problems and put your awareness on them. So by doing that, if you do that, that puts you in the same vibration, which is now we're starting to get into the right way to pray and ask and visualize. If you want to change the problem, you must detach from it and attach your energy to the same frequencies of the solution. So here, yeah, so instead of saying, oh, God, don't let bad things happen to me today, or you should say, God, today is going to be a good day and good things are going to happen to me. Um, yeah, that's it. Instead of, because see the difference? Instead, you're over here fearing or hoping that nothing bad happens to you. But if you're asking, oh, don't let bad things happen today, versus, oh, God, today's gonna be a good day, and good things are gonna happen. And so you're already thinking about that. You're putting your awareness on good things happening. So you're already on a different frequency. So as long as you stay in that frequency, then the it's a must that good things and good day will happen to you because you're aligned with that frequency instead of being over here wondering or hoping or leaving or yeah. So now we start get yeah. So when you so I think that meditation is a little bit like praying because first of all it puts you in the now moment when you start still and you forget about everything so you're present in the moment and then when you pray you're asking for God you're asking God for things to happen into your life. So meditation, the two types of meditation that I do, it's one to be still and be in the present moment, clear out my life, my mind from everything. And the second one, and then I get into a visualization meditation, which is I start visualizing, like pretty much asking God, the universe, or source of things I want to happen in my life. And I do that through my imagination. Since I'm already in the now present moment, I start visualizing what I want now, like um, for the problem to be solved, or a good day to happen, or when I found a job, that's exactly how I did it. I got myself into the now moment, visualizing that I already had a job, or people already contacted me for a job, and then I already had a job that I was already getting paid, that people were looking for my services, and that's how companies started contacting me right away. Versus somebody that um, it's in the mentality or in the awareness of like job jobs are hard to find. I can never find a job. Um, I'm underqualified. I'm overqualified because then it'll put you in that frequency. So it's gonna make it that much harder for you to attract a job because you're not in that frequency. So when I visualize, let's go back to reading this. So pay attention and focus upon. Yeah, this is pretty much how the most easiest way to. It's hard at the beginning, but then it becomes easier. It's about being in the now moment and being focused about what your awareness is on. Try not to make it be on problems and drama and stuff like that because you're just gonna attract more of that. You have to be imaginative and just imagine good things, and then it'll put you in that frequency. The longer you stay on that frequency, like days, then it has no other option than to manifest in front of you. It puts you in that frequency. That's pretty much it. I think last time I finished reading the whole, but it was just that one paragraph. Let me read through here real quick to see if I need to read 9 or 10. Okay, I read that. I could get into the next chapter, which is how I meditate, and then we'll see what comes up. Okay, let's start here. How I meditate. Chapter How I Meditate. Meditation should be simple. There are different ways to meditate, and none are wrong. I often practice two forms and combine them together. The purpose of one of them is to quiet and still the mind, to clear it from all thoughts and to not think of anything. The purpose of the other is to visualize. I clear out the mind first to allow room for new thoughts and ideas to enter. So yeah, there's a few reasons why you need to clear out the mind. One of it is to make room for new ideas, to receive new ideas and new thoughts, or even to imagine new things so you won't get distracted and It allows you to be in the now moment too. Awe of creation starts with a conscious thought through imagination when the mind is still. This is important because this is essentially everything. Everyone that came up with an invention, they first thought about it in their mind. That's how you make things. That's the first step of all of creation. This goes hand in hand with what scientists have already found out that most of it, most of reality is imagined. It's non-physical. Like 90, to be on the safe side, like 94% of everything that exists in the life and in the universe, you can't see it. And the rest, which is 6%, being generous, is physical stuff, matter like us. So therefore, that's how lucky we are to experiencing life in a physical form right here, right now, to be in this experience. That's how we already won the lottery. In other words, just to be here, experiencing. Um, so, and scientists already, which was shocking to my mind too. In other words, they took an atom and they pretty much checked the ingredients of what an atom is, which atom us, makes all the matter, which is all the physical matter. They found out that 90 some 6% of it, 90 something percent of it, it's all space. Like you can't see what it is, and the rest it's actual material, which is why it allows us to move around and grow and stuff. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to grow and move around. But anyways, let me keep reading this. Um, oh yeah, going back to conscious thoughts. Visualizing is important for creating because it is the first step to everything. Example, if you're going to build a house, gathering all the materials is not the first step. The first steps are thinking of how the house is going to look and designing it in your imagination. So, how many rooms and bathrooms where the kitchen and living room will be at. The whole process happens through your thoughts, and none of it is in physical form yet. But it is real. But it is real in a thought form at first. So you first must throw it out there, project it with a thought, like, "Oh, this is what I want," and you gotta have no resistance. Like, know that it's possible, which we'll get into it later. And it's one of the reasons why a lot of people think that manifestation doesn't work because they imagine things or they want things, but then they have some resistance to it. Like not they might not their mind, but their subconscious is not believing that that's true or possible, or that they could experience or see that in their projected in their real world, because they have some resistance, some limiting beliefs, which is why we talk about the subconscious and how to reprogram it so you could get rid of that limiting belief and put feed it a new program so then you could see that experience that in in your real world in your imagination in your first in your imagination and then with no resistance and then it'll show up in your real life. You gotta have no resistance. You gotta know it's possible and stuff like that. So going back to meditating, um, a lot of people say they don't have time to. Okay, so let me keep reading this. If you don't have time to visualize during the day, you can just train your mind on stilling it by focusing on your breathing and quieting it down. This will allow your mind to receive information and guidance from source in a much better way. Some might call it intuition. I normally do this while driving to and from work. Visualization works best and is more effective when your body is extremely relaxed, like before going to sleep or when you are in a drowsy state of mind from breathing. So it's okay if you fall asleep or take a nap during a meditation. Okay, so when I meditate, I do start off by breathing in and out slowly, and I'll go over the step by step soon here, and then I do the visualization. But if I don't have time to visualize, because to visualize you have to be really, your body has to be. It doesn't have to be, but it works best if you're like in a drowsy state or like close to falling asleep, because you feed your subconscious. It's easier to connect with it, but you don't necessarily have to. That's only more to get rid of the limiting beliefs for like the harder stuff, the harder stuff. If it's something simple that you know you have no resistance towards, you can just imagine it in your life during the day or something, and then go up about your day, and then when you least expect it, see, here's the trick: you have to not be looking where is it at, where is it at. You just have to go up about your day, and then it'll just happen shockingly, like with when you least expect it, or when you're not looking, it'll show up in your life, and you're gonna be like, and you might not even acknowledge it up until um too later. You're gonna be like, oh, dang, I wasn't thinking about it, and I got it, or I experienced it. You're like, oh, how crazy. But the more you look, the more you experience it, it's gonna happen naturally too. You can't try to force it, because if you try to look for it and force it, that's the ego mind. That's the conscious mind that is looking. So, and by the way, looking implies that you don't have it. So you're projecting that into the world. So it's gonna project back to you that you don't have it. So it's gonna keep you away from it. You're not gonna have it. It's gonna make it harder for you to get. Uh, so yeah, it's actually a really good way to reprogram your subconscious. Just make sure you are imagining something positive and not anything negative before falling asleep. And that when you wake up from a nap or in the mornings, it's always good to stay in a positive way of thinking and to keep having your awareness on what you went to sleep visualizing on, to keep the same feeling associated with your desired outcome. So yeah, when you go to sleep and when you wake up, you want to catch yourself right away and go into your imagination, what you want to create in your life, your positive things. Know that it's true, that it's happened, or that it's happening, or whatever you would like, whatever makes you feel more easier. Um, Give me a minute, because that's when your mind's still like your brain waves are still connected to your subconscious. So it's a good time to keep feeding it good things with no resistance. Don't start thinking about how it would happen, or oh, that's impossible, stuff like that. That's going back. Your ego mind is trying to coming back, trying to protect you, trying to bring you back to the old you, to stay the same, to what it knows, what it's used to what it's accustomed to. It's not used to what you want or what you're desiring. So it's it's foreign to it. It's getting scared from it. So that's why it's trying to bring you back. This is why when you're trying to manifest something different in your life, bad things will start happening, because that's your old self trying to bring you back and trying to see if you really sure if you really want to change. And the way you tell them yes, you really want to change, is by ignoring it, not giving in, not uh, reacting to it emotionally or in a negative way. Because if you do, that means that you're back to the old you, and then that you're not ready to change. That's why you gotta ignore it act like it's not true, and then imagine the good thing outcome in your mind, and then that's how you break the chain, and then do it over and over. And then it's gonna try to pull you back, but then you have to stay true to the new you, to the new person that you want to be. Um, you want to keep the same momentum and not go back to the old limiting beliefs. When your mind first wakes up and it's not fully awake yet, since it's in a different level of consciousness, being at that level also makes it easier to communicate with the subconscious, which is what we just pretty much talked about. And here we get into another subject. I discover that our bodies are always either in one or two different states of being, either in a survival state or in a powerful state. And I learned this through many videos, watching other people that talk about this. And it's true, by the way. Um, it, and it turns out that our biology doesn't allow our energy fields to create and attract when we are in a survival state. But when our bodies are at peace, that's when our hearts say it's okay to create. So it's like an amplifier, So you have to be relaxed. That's why it's important for you to be relaxed, at peace. Know that nothing's out to get you. That there's no worries, um, no problems, because you allow that flow to start happening in your life. There's no constraint. There's no resistance. Um, let's see here. Some examples of when you are in a powerful state of being are when you are feeling joy, peace, compassion, happiness, love, calm, courage, confidence, and are in a worry free state of mind. So, yeah, those are examples of when you are in a powerful state of being. You know, examples of being on a survival state or in a lower states of consciousness are when you are feeling angry, rage, sadness, scarcity, jealousy, to name a few. Meditation will help you get out of lower frequencies and get into a powerful state of being. So, meditation also helps you uh, to get from a low consciousness state of feeling into a neutral state, and then you can elevate yourself into being at peace, love, compassionate. It makes it easier to do to transition, and then you can start visualizing and creating a better future for yourself. When I do visualization meditations, okay, so here I'm gonna start getting into the process of how I meditate. And I did this through it's pretty simple. There's a lot of ways to meditate, like I said earlier. None of them are wrong. We're we're all different. You could try this out, improvise from it, change it, whatever works a little bit better for you. We all have different bodies, so some of us could take in longer breaths, so you don't have to hold your breath as long as I can, um, and then start feeling uncomfortable. Um, so yeah, you could just, and then here's the beauty about being in the still moment, in the present moment, that it allows you to connect with your higher consciousness, and then you receive knowledge, and then that's when you start to know what's right for you, because everybody's different, so you start getting more thoughts or information or ideas tell you, oh, do it this way or do it that way. And no, that's why no way is wrong, and every way is the right way. If you're in that moment, in that still moment, and it feels right for you to do certain things, your way is the right way to do things. You get the best results that way. It doesn't mean that that's the only way and the best way that for everybody, but that's the right way for you. So before I start losing you guys, or let me start reading before I start making no sense. So here we go. When I do visualization meditations, I first rest my body in a comfortable place with no distractions. I normally rest my body with my eyes closed in a reclined position, and then I begin to take deep breaths without expectations. So yeah, that's one of the key things. You don't have to expect anything. You could just meditate with no expectations. Oh yeah, and I normally do it. I normally meditate like in a reclined position. I don't do the whole meditation pose. Rarely I do. So this is just to let you guys know that you could do it anyway. You could sometimes I even do it going to sleep, laying on my stomach. I do the breathing until it gets me calm, and then I start visualizing, and then I go to sleep, and then it works a lot. I've never had any negative bad results or no results. So it always works. But normally I do it laying down on my bed, recline myself, start breathing, and then because I normally do fall asleep or take a little nap when I do the deep meditations, and I try to do so because it's effective. Um, I focus on my breathing throughout this time and on clearing out my mind by not thinking about anything. So yeah, just focus on the breathing in and out. And I tell you guys in the right, it's coming up in the right now. It's gonna tell us the seconds and all that stuff. But the challenging part is that since your conscious mind is still active, this is when thoughts might start trying to still come in throughout the day or problems that you've just been experiencing. So that's normal. Just push them away. Don't think about them. Don't give them any thoughts. Just push them away and don't think about them. It might take some practice at first, but then you'll get better the more you do it. Or you must start trying to catch yourself so you don't start thinking deep into. And if you do, that's okay. Just make sure you go back to being still, back to your focus on your breathing. Um, you could do it for as long as you want, a minute. Uh, Sometimes I do it a minute, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, until you feel comfortable. Then you go on to the next step. Um, if any thoughts come up, I simply push them away or cancel them, and I go back to focusing on my breathing. Okay, so here's the process of how I start meditating with my breathing. First, I empty out all my breath. There's 4 steps to breathing, pretty much. Inhale, inhale through your nose, hold, and then exhale. When you exhale, you could exhale through your mouth or through your nose. Same thing. And I'll tell you how I do it in a little bit. And then that's the third step, exhale. And then the last step is you hold. You hold before you repeat, before you exhale, you inhale again through your nose, hold, and then exhale. And then hold before you repeat again, over and over. So here it says that I breathe in slowly through my nostrils for about 4 seconds. And I do it at the same time that when I inhale, I expand my stomach outward, so I fill it in with air for about 4 seconds, give or take. And then you hold for about 4 more seconds with your stomach pushed out, filled with air. And then you exhale. I exhale through my mouth, let all my air out, through my stomach, inward, push out all the air for about 6 seconds. A little longer, the exhale. And then you hold for about 4 seconds before you repeat. So this will start to, if you do this for about 5, 10 minutes, you're gonna notice your body, your mind start to get more light, more relaxed, more present, more in the now moment. Your body's gonna start to feel more relaxed. And then when I feel that my body starts to feel more relaxed, instead of exhaling through my mouth, I start exhaling through my nose because I'm more calm. My body's more shutting down now, so really need, I don't really use my mouth muscles no more, like to exhale. Instead, I just try to do more automatic. Same process, everything's still the same. I inhale through my nose, hold, exhale through my nose. Because at this point, my consciousness is starting to drift my mind is starting to drift out from my body, from the 3D world. Oh, I forgot to mention, all this is, well, I think I mentioned it, but all this whole time you have to be with your eyes closed, and then you're gonna start to separate yourself from this world in a way. Um, so this right after this is when we could start meditating, visualizing, doing your visualization because you're in the present moment, and then you can start selecting what you want to do. Some people, when you start drifting out to the void, people some call it to the void. It could be to the field, to the unknown, where nothing exists, but at the same time everything exists, all the possibilities. So that's when you can start visualizing and selecting what you want to experience in your life. I begin. Okay, so when I start to notice that my body is beginning to feel relaxed, I begin to exhale through my nose, or so, like I said right now. And I repeat this for about 5 minutes, sometimes to even 30 minutes. So I start doing this depending on however I feel like it. During this time, once my body is fully relaxed, I begin to visualize or imagine anything I want to create in my life, which I just said. Some examples is I want my days to go good and peaceful. Then I would just imagine that a peaceful day where everything is going good for me, and I visualize with emotion and imagine as if it was real. The more detail you see and feel, the more you will convince your subconscious to believe that that event is real. So here, let me sneeze real quick. What your subconscious believes to be true will be the reality it will attract. The subconscious does not know the difference between what is real and what is not. So you can use that to your advantage to imagine whatever you want your subconscious to believe. That right there is very important. This is what what makes it funner. Because your subconscious does not know what's real or not. Which is why if you see something and you react to it in a negative way, it's going to recreate it. But if you imagine something, whether it's good or not, and you believe it to be true, it's going to attract it to you. So that's why you could imagine stuff that's still not real in your reality. Imagine it with conviction that you know it's true, the outcome the feeling, and then with no resistance, know that it's possible, and let it go. Don't worry about how, and then it'll project itself in real life. You'll see it. That's how you trick your subconscious. That's how you reprogram it. Mhm. When you visualize, it's important to feel as if whatever you are imagining is in the present moment by making it feel as if it were already real and true. You want to make it feel like it's normal for you to experience those type of events. Yeah, like normalize it, like it's normal, like it happens all the time. Um, like you expect it all the time, like it's normal. Like just how certain people, it's normal for them to go on dates because they're in that vibration. Um, then it's easier for them. More people are easier to make money or good luck to happen to them because they're always focused on that. They're always worried about their awareness is on that. So that's what they're aligned with. So that's what they experience. Same thing with people that have bad luck or because they're always expecting that or they always their imagination is always on that. So that's why they experience that. Want to normalize it. Like it's normal for you to find jobs, be successful, find a partner, make certain amounts of money, etc. Not just making it seem normal, but many times expectancy is the emotion that can accelerate things into existence. So expectancy, you have to expect things with no resistance. But there's a difference between expectancy and like wanting it really bad. Because wanting it really bad says that you don't have it. Expectancy knows that you that you know that you're gonna have it, get it, and that you're okay whether you get it or not, because it's normal for you to get those types of things. So you're not attached to it. So that's why you're gonna get it, get more of those, and get it because you don't care whether you do or not because it's normal for you to get those things. Kind of makes sense. You have to normalize it and expect it. So here we get into another good paragraph. The universe or God doesn't communicate through language, it communicates through thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Not emotions like if you are happy or sad, although that can help the process, but mainly through what you expect to be real and your imagination and feeling like it's already real and like it can very easily happen. So like when they say emotions, it's not like, oh, you gotta be happy all the time or if you're sad you can't manifest good things. No, more of the emotion of you feeling like it's real, like you're experiencing that event. Because when you imagine something negative in your mind that hasn't happened yet and you have that negative emotion, it manifests because you already through that emotion now you're like, oh, I don't want to get a bill, and you feel like you're gonna get a bill, and then so therefore you get more bills because you're already vibing that way. Like a rich person doesn't worry about getting bills because they're not in that vibration. They're worried about they're in the vibration they're on. It's like they know they have money to pay bills, so they're don't worry about paying bills because they know they're always gonna get money, keep getting money. They're not worried about saving because that's a lack mentality. Saving implies that you don't have any or you're lacking or that money's hard to come by, so therefore you have to save in order for a rainy day and stuff like that. Um, Feel like it's not emotional, like you're happy. So okay. Oh yeah. So another important thing about praying and visualizing or meditating is not about words, as most of you guys already know. Uh, it's more about the feeling and the imagination and the emotions you put behind it. Because you could say, "Oh, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm abundant," with your English words or your language. But deep down inside, if you feel uncomfortable when you get bills or when you got to pay something, then that's the reality of what you're vibrating. So your words don't really matter. I'd be saying if you're affirming all day long, I'm rich, I'm rich. If you're emotionally, if you're vibrating at a different um, frequency throughout the day, most of the time, you're complaining about money. If you're saying that it's hard to make, that it's hard to find. So what I like to try to do is when I'm meditating or visualizing, I try to not use to force the feeling out without words. So if I want to say, oh, I'm abundant, and I'm imagining it or something, I try to, it's like a game, like I try to force it out of me, like the feeling of abundance, and, but the rule is I can't talk or use language, not even in my imagination or like say it. So it forces me to get those emotions out even easier to like make it more real, like, oh, when, so it comes, to express itself through me. So that way, it gets me conditioned to for the feeling, the emotion, and then visualization. It helps if you say, "Oh, I'm," because that could be the onset. So be like, "Oh, I'm abundant," but then you got to start really feeling it, like really go deep down inside of you and um and feel it and believe it. Um, when I get into a deep meditation, I visualize for about 5 minutes to sometimes even an hour, and at times it feels like my mind disconnects from the world and it disengages from my surroundings and body. It feels as if my mind is around empty space, and then I realize that I'm consciousness observing and experiencing reality through a physical body. This is also a perfect time to start visualizing and imagining. I repeat all my visualizations as much as possible until they feel natural or until they become reality. But it's important to feel as if it were normal for you to receive your desires and to act like you already possess what you are wishing for. So again, I'm repeating over everything over and over again. But that's very important because the more you repeat things, the more it puts you in that vibration throughout the day. Like I watch videos like this throughout the day because it puts me in the same frequency. It reminds me of who I am, what I want to keep being, of the vibration, the abundance of vibration I want to keep being, the positive and all that stuff. And it's just like going to the gym, like lifting weights every day. You do it to maintain the physique or get better. And same thing with this. The more content, the more people you hear talking about this, the more it puts you in the same vibration, and it reminds you to keep staying in the same vibration. Which is the next paragraph talks about repetition. Repetition is important. It's very similar. Oh, I just talked about. I just said this. It's very similar to going to the gym and working out the muscles. The more you do repetitions, the more results you will see. It also becomes easier. So it'll get easier to visualize and expect things. So eventually you won't have to, it'll be easier. It'll be like natural for you to visualize and it'll be fun too. Like right now, it's easier for me to just think of something and experience it. And when you're making that transition, you have to be careful because even bad things that you don't want, and it could be minor things like that don't really hurt you, but it's not. And it shocks you like, whoa, like I just thought about this and it happened, like so instead of having to think something little negative, just something positive, and then it'll happen. Something positive will happen. So it conditions yourself to think more positive most of the time. Uh, Repetition also helps you being in the already having into those good feelings. Yeah, again, more of the same stuff that I was talking about, and that would make it easier for you to attract your desires. So repetition. I think I'll make another a repetition. I'm gonna put this on pause and I'll be right back. Alright guys, this video is getting a little bit long. We're gonna finish this chapter up, or maybe let's see where we're going here. This next paragraph is kind of important as well. When visualizing is important to. Oh, there's a typo there, so I needed to. Okay. When visualizing, it is important to not worry about how the outcome will occur, and to detach yourself from that. I want to make a note here because I want to make a separate video on this. This is important. This is pretty much I'm going to talk about how to detach. This is not our our um our step to worry about. This is okay. Let me keep reading. So, when visualizing, it's important to not worry about how the outcome will occur, and to detach yourself from that. Just have faith. This is when faith comes in, and leave it up to God and consciousness to come up with a way or a solution. This is important. The how, you got to leave that up to energy, to source, to God, to worry about it. They're the that's that's the higher energy that's gonna make it happen. And by you not looking, you just have to not focus or worry about it, but just focus on the outcome and knowing that it's already here, that it already happened. And then the how, it's gonna fix it. It'll come to you unexpectedly, easily, effortlessly. If you're in the now moment, that's why meditating is good, because it allows you to be in the now still moment, and that's when you can receive information, ideas, or thoughts of how to solve it, which is going to be easily effortless. You don't have to force nothing, or if you're forcing something or trying too hard, that's you're doing too much. That's not it. Um, the same energy that brought the near-death experiences back to life and help their bodies heal back to normal, it is that same energy that will find a way to bring you the desired outcome. So it's all the same energy that just wants to grow, expand life, just for the better of life. You know, this is when you surrender. So this is when you have to just surrender, just give it up, let, and it's a good feeling. Once you get used to it, doing it over and over and over, I love that feeling when I get to that when I visualize, and then, or especially if it's a really problem like right now, an example, right now I'm going through some couple physical challenges, but in my mind, I'm already healed. I already went through the surrender process, which I don't know how I'm gonna get healed, but in my mind, I'm already healed and perfect. I have the perfect healed body, and I have no resistance towards that because I know that's the truth. And I'm surrender. Like God is gonna heal it for me, whether that's me doing nothing and the body is gonna heal itself, or whether an idea is going to come to me, is going to tell me, oh, go to this doctor or do this, and or whatever it is, and it's going to seem effortlessly, like it's going to feel normal and natural for me to go with the flow and go that way, and then it's going to heal itself. But I'm not going to sit here every day and pay attention to, oh, this hurts, this there's something wrong with me, because I'm just going to prolong the situation. I'm giving it attention to the problem, and then it's gonna create more of it. Um, I might fix it, but then it's gonna keep reoccurring, or another similar problem will come into my life if I keep staying focusing on it, or paying attention to the what is, to the, because what is, it's, if I pay attention to it, it's just gonna keep repeating itself. So in my mind, I'm already convinced that I'm healthy and nothing hurts, and so I already surrender. I surrender that to God or consciousness, the higher power. And it's a beautiful feeling when you just surrender, because you don't stress about it, you don't worry about it. You have faith. That's when faith comes in. If you start doubting it, you don't have faith because you're doubting it. And then that's the analytical ego mind trying to play games with you, or trying to pull you back to the old you. you have to not think about it or give it any power and just surrender. And then what makes it easier to surrender is just imagination. Just keep being in that frequency of the solution that it's already fixed, that the problem's already fixed, or whatever it is that you desire. It is. This is when you surrender and get out of your own way by not thinking and feeling negative things or negative reasons why your desires can't occur. Don't imagine negative outcomes that haven't happened yet. None of that should never enter your mind, since that will add blockages and delays to your desires. God's ways are infinite, and nothing is impossible to Him. Our human minds and egos are limited. By surrendering to God, you allow Him to show you the way by paying attention to your intuition. So this is pretty important here. So God's way, nothing's impossible for Him. He's always gonna find a way, one way or another, to bring what you imagine to fruition. If you have, if you get out the way, if you have no resistance, no doubts, it'll happen one way or another, and it'll be a way where you least expect it to. Um, so you, human minds and egos are limited. Being attached to and trying to figure out the how. So here I give some detail on why you shouldn't worry about the how, because that's not your problem. First of all, we should all know this and believe it. That's God's or higher consciousness responsibility to worry about the how. So you have to 0% is your responsibility. So don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Get out the way, which is very hard to do, and which is why a lot of manifestations don't happen, because people don't get out their own way. So here I say, being attached to and trying to figure out the how implies that you don't have your desire yet, and that you are noticing the absence of it, so the universe will reflect that back to you. So that's why it's not your responsibility to worry about it, because if you start focusing and putting your awareness on how it's going to happen, you're telling your subconscious that you don't have it, because you want to know how you're going to get it. So that means that you, out of by default, that means that you don't have it. So you're in that vibration that you don't have it. So the universe is going to reflect more of that time back to you. So it's going to prolong the manifestation, because you're looking for it. You're looking for something that you're implying that you don't have it. As if instead you would do what you should be doing, which is be in the wish fulfill, as they would say, in the end feeling, like in the outcome, visualize the outcome, like act like it's already done. You're in that vibration, so it'll put you in that frequency. So there, eventually, you're gonna manifest that frequency instead of manifesting more of a you don't have, you want to know how, because somebody that has it is not looking for it. Instead, that's when you should go into the feeling of already having it, so that it can reflect that back to you instead. When you shift your awareness to the person you decide you want to be, and when you start to think and feel as if you already have what you desire, that's when coincidences will start to occur that will lead you to the solution and desired outcome. So yeah, so coincidences start to happen once you get out the way. You you get into the now moment, in the still moment, into the present moment, and you start coincidence start happening that would lead you to next step, and then eventually your manifestation will happen, because you're in the flow state, you're in the present moment, and you're out of your way. Being still and in the present moment allows you to better perceive guidance from source and it heightens your intuition. It makes the connection to higher consciousness much easier. It's what allows for things to start to fall into place. That's when you start being at the right places at the right times and coming up with the right things to say at the right times. It also means you are in a flow state, allowing information to come through you and acting upon it. And being still in the present moment means you are not worried over or overthinking about anything, just living life as it goes. If you feel like resting, you rest. If you feel like exercising, you exercise. If you feel like going somewhere, you go. So that's pretty much, it's pretty simple, which a lot of us don't do. We always like thinking of something that happened in the past or thinking of something that hasn't happened in the future yet. Mainly negative things, which is what we shouldn't be doing. Um, being present in the now moment it's crucial to creating and receiving, and allows you to be more intuitive. To also, if something bad's gonna happen and you're in the now moment, you're able to feel it. Like, oh, get out the way, or don't go there, or and that I use that every day, all the time. If I'm like, if I feel like I'm very intuitive now, so if I feel like some kind of pull, then I'll slow down. I'll let things go. I won't rush it because from experience, if I rush things, bad things happen. So I let the bad things flow and go, and vice versa. So if good things could feel good, then you're going the right way. But especially for the bad things, you don't want to force things. If your intuition's telling you no, then it's right. It's no. Examples of not being in the moment are when you are not hungry, yet you are thinking of what you will eat later. So see, you're bored, you're not alive, thinking in the future, you're not hungry, you're trying to force things because you're not hungry, but you're saying you're trying to force things by not force control things. So you're trying to build a schedule of what you're gonna do later instead of doing what you paying attention to your body or to whatever you feel like doing at the moment each and every time, which is what we should be doing. We're over here trying to control things. So when you are planning on exercising later but you feel tired, when you are thinking of where you should go or do later on, yet you don't feel like doing anything, when you are thinking of negative what if moments in your mind that have not happened yet, that's a big one. A lot of us do that. We shouldn't be doing that. And instead of practice this, instead of every time something comes to your mind, it's a negative, like you're imagining a negative scenario that hasn't happened yet, cancel it right away and imagine something good that you have no resistance towards. Man, go up about your day. Try that little challenge. So this will make it harder to be receptive to source and its guidance. So yeah, it's kind of harder for you to be connected to source, so you can receive good thoughts and guidance or intuition and stuff like that. So that alone makes it harder for that. This goes along with another great piece of advice I came across. Bashar says that following your highest excitement all the time will often lead you to good things and outcomes. If you are undecided about a couple of options to act upon, go with the one that excites you the most first. This also goes hand in hand. Okay, so before I read the next sentence, Bashar, I think Daryl, some guy named Daryl, channels a spirit called Bashar that helps us manifest and live better lives. And he always talks about following your highest excitement. So that means that you're in the now moment, you're present. Follow your best excitement. Whatever you feel like doing, do it. That's gonna lead you to the next best thing, and then by being in the moment, you might if you're in the an example, if you're in a and you're in the present moment and you follow your highest excitement, something's telling you to go get a coffee because you feel like getting coffee, go get coffee. You might meet someone there, business partner, romantic relationship, friendship relationship. Um, um, Follow your highest excitement, and then without any expectations, always getting caught blindsided. That's how the best things are gonna come into your life. Um, that's pretty much what it is. Just follow your next excitement all the time in life. That's what we want to do. That's what I'm trying to get good at, better at, and that's worked for me all the time. Every time I always end up meeting people, starting a conversation effortlessly. It seems natural, and always being at the right place at the right time is very, very synchronized and fun thing to experience. And that's just by being in the now present moment and following your highest excitement. This also goes hand in hand with the phrase inspire action, which means that when you get an intuitive idea to do or say something, you act upon it. So, inspire action means that if something comes to your mind, to say it, or to do it. Like as long as you're in the now moment, you're still, and you're gonna get that like God talking to you or Source talking to you, telling you to do it, do this, act upon this, or that's how I wrote this book and how I started this channel. Like it told me to do so through meditations and inspire action. It told me, get started, do it. Um, this is a long chapter. Okay, guys, so I will cut it off there, and I will because I think we talked about a lot today in this next couple of paragraphs. I'll make a different video maybe next couple of days, uh, talking about this next couple of things on this chapter. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to start this journey with you guys, getting more comfortable doing these videos. I think this is like my third or fourth video. Um, I'll try to make them shorter, get more straight to the point. Um, but yeah, it's pretty much we're gonna talk about visualization, how we can use visualization to our advantage to create a better life every day by day. How to alchemize problems, how to turn bad situations to good situation, which I do all the time. It's fun. Um, Subjects we already briefly talked about repetition. It's very important, very important that you repeat everything, content, same things. Although you even know it, although there's a difference between knowing and actually implementing it and using it in your life. And that's when changes start to happen. And when you actually start, when you become it, when you become the knowledge that you have, rather than just knowing it, you just practice it. Meditation could be a little bit boring, but it's not if you make it. If you know that it's not, when you get used to it all the time, then it becomes easier, and you can get into the awareness, into the frequency right away. And breathing, I think I talked about breathing last video, but yeah, I don't want to bore you guys any longer. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, whenever um, week, weekend, whenever you guys are watching this. And remember, if you're having a bad experience or circumstance, in your life right now. Don't worry about it. Don't pay attention to it. Act, tell yourself that's not true. And in your imagination, believe and imagine the outcome what you want to be true. What and believe it's true. Be like that's and be like no, that's not true. This is true. What I'm imagining is true, and it's true because it's true, and it's gotta be true. So and then go upon your hours, days like that, and then eventually it'll shift. It'll turn the bad situation will turn into the good situation as long as you constantly focus on the good outcome for it to happen. Throw it out there, can make it happen. Uh, Act like it's already happened, like it's already true. Don't give any attention to the be like, oh, that's just an illusion. That's not true. And only focus on what you want, and then eventually it'll happen. Of course, the bigger the goal is, the longer it might take, the more times. But if it's something that you know that you could relatively achieve easily, then it could happen just like that, real easy. Um, all right, guys. Much love. I'm Alex, and I will see you guys soon. Okay, thank you.